Are you looking to get into physical media? If so, this is the video for you. Welcome back to Movies Good, Internet Bad. I'm Cory, and in this video, I'm going to explain to you the best 4K discs to start your collection. Whether you want to test out your TV or your home theater's capabilities, or if you just want to own your favorite movies, this is the absolute gold standard as far as picture and sound are going to go. So go ahead and like and subscribe to the channel, and let's dive right into this. I did put together a curated collection here, but it's not necessarily a top 10 list. Each one of these entries is going to show off a different capability of what the 4K format can do. And again, there's no right or wrong list here. This is my list. Yours may be different. So please make sure to go into the comment section below and let me know your thoughts. Anyway, let's get started. All right, so for the best use of Dolby Atmos, we have Denis Villeneuve's Blade Runner 2049. This is a great use of Atmos, particularly the height effects. There are a lot of movies that are out there that have Atmos soundtracks that do a really nice job of kind of putting you in an immersive sound bubble. They utilize the height speakers to kind of expand upon what's happening in the front sound stage and in your rear speakers. But Blade Runner 2049 does a really incredible job with just the discrete effects, so a lot of noises that really enhance the verticality of a lot of the scenes that you're in. So, every time Agent K is walking through the streets, there's something going on above your head. There's something flying over, or there's a radio announcement, or there's somebody in an apartment. It just, every time I watch that movie, it absolutely blows me away how it feels like I'm really there, which is honestly the whole point of this format. This movie came out back in, I want to say 2017. Yeah, 2017. And it still, to this day, is probably within my top 5 when it comes to what movies should I buy to start a collection, or what do you want to use to show off your setup. It's also a massive stress test on your subwoofer, and the visuals are spectacular too. So definitely one to check out. All right, next up is going to be the best use of the IMAX format. IMAX is really coming into vogue lately. It's become the go-to way to see a movie for a lot of people, and there's no better filmmaker in today's atmosphere to talk about other than Christopher Nolan. I wanted to be a little bit different here and not just pick Interstellar or Oppenheimer or one of the Batman movies, so I'm actually going to showcase here Dunkirk from Christopher Nolan. Dunkirk is one of those movies that it's kind of an unsung hero in Nolan's filmography. Some of his movies, especially when he got into doing IMAX, so Dark Knight, Interstellar, Dark Knight Rises, they utilize the IMAX format, but they don't use it for most of the film. And then with other movies that are out there, like if you buy one of the new Mission Impossible films, you'll get one sequence or maybe 2 sequences that fill up your screen if you have a 16:9 screen or a television. Dunkirk is almost 70% of the runtime is spent in that IMAX format. So with those big 65mm IMAX film cameras, the detail you're getting is just pristine. The sharpness is unbelievable. The colors are beautiful, and it's a great movie. It's also got a great audio track, but really the showcase of that one is the IMAX. All right, so for the next one, I'm cheating, and it is a twofer, but this is for the absolute most immersive experience that I can give with a 4K disc, and that goes to Dune Part 1 and Dune Part 2. We're back on the Denis Villeneuve train here. The Dune movies they're spectacular. They're the total package. I mean, between the visuals from Greg Fraser's cinematography, which is just unbelievable. They do a digital filming, they scan it onto film, and then they put it back into digital to give it that really classic, timeless film look. And between the visuals, the audio, and the subject matter, there are no 2 other movies in my collection, and I have about 620 movies right now on 4K, that just suck you into the story the same way that Dune does. Every scene with a spice harvester is going to shake your room. The sandworm riding scene in part 2 is bone chilling, and it gives me goosebumps every single time I watch it. And just overall, it is a true showcase of what the format can be, what it means to have somebody who understands what home collection is for, and to not skimp out on that. I know some people will complain and they will say it is not a definitive version because it doesn't have the IMAX scenes like it played in theaters, but for the time being, this is what Denny and his team have chosen. I wouldn't be surprised if an IMAX version came out after Dune Part 3 in like a nice big box set, and you can probably count me in to make that purchase. I would love the option to choose whether I want to watch it in CinemaScope or IMAX, and hopefully someday that'll be the case. Okay, so the next one is interesting because in the world that we live in today, television pretty much lives on streaming. And even before that, television lived on something like cable. And neither of those really have the best when it comes to picture quality or audio quality. However, TV has become more like film, and film has become more like TV, and the lines have been blurred between what film is and what television is. There's a lot of shows that have massive, $100-200 million budgets, just like major theatrical productions do. And it's a real shame that in a lot of cases, you're not able to see those shows in their full glory. Low bit rates from streaming services typically means a lot of blockiness in low light scenes, less sharpness, much less expansive audio tracks. I mean, we're talking about kilobits per second instead of megabits per second for the audio presentation. So I wanted to highlight Andor Season 1, Star Wars show that first aired on Disney Plus. They have this nice steelbook of the entire first season. It is fantastic. It is on 100 gigabyte discs. The bit rate is significantly higher than what you would see on Disney Plus, both for the video and the audio. It really gives you a true glimpse of what some of these productions can look and sound like when you're feeding it into your display and your speakers the correct way. So the Aldani arc in the middle of the season has some breathtaking visuals, and the audio is just top-notch across the board. So if you're looking to see a TV show in its true format, Andor is a great place to start. There's also, all the seasons of The Mandalorian, Ahsoka, all the Marvel shows, Falcon and Winter Soldier, Loki, WandaVision, they all have physical releases, as well as a bunch of HBO shows. So Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, so on and so forth. Definitely worth checking out some TV on physical media. So one of the highlights of the 4K format is having the opportunity to see older movies in a way that we've never seen them before. And a perfect example of that is the Roaring Twenties from the Criterion Collection. The master on this was actually pulled directly from the original 35mm camera negative, which on a movie from all the way back in 1939, the fact that that original negative even exists is kind of incredible, let alone the fact that they got their hands on it. They did a full restoration process with a professional colorist, and then they also gave the inclusion of Dolby Vision HDR, which with a noir film like this, to be able to really maximize the highlights and the shadows and the black levels and everything, it really takes an older movie like this and elevates it to a level that had probably never really been seen before, and it makes a definitive version of a film that maybe hadn't seen better days. Also, it's an awesome movie. It's got James Cagney and Humphrey Bogart in it. It's a nice little gangster film. Super cool, definitely worth checking out, along with a bunch of other older films, particularly from the folks at Criterion. Next up, we have another twofer, and in this one, we're talking about showcasing animation. So animation is an incredible medium that is kind of slept on by a lot of people. They might be a little snobby and turn their noses down at the idea of animation. But when we're talking about 4K and we're talking about Dolby Vision and HDR and wide color gamuts and spectrums, animation is one of the best things you could ask for. And for that, I have Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse and Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I really couldn't pick between the two as to which one I thought was going to be the best one to talk about in this video. But, they're basically a comic book in motion, right? Insane colors, insane sequences, things that they can't do in live action, and colors that they really can't reproduce in live action either. If you take a look at the Super Collider sequence in the climax of the first film, or when they go to Mumbattan in the second one with Spider-Man India, I mean, the colors just pop off the screen. The blacks are so inky. You get those little Kirby crackles, that emulate the comic action. Just really amazing. A great way to wow people with what this format can do. Runner-up shout out here to WALL-E from the Criterion Collection as well. WALL-E's one of my favorite animated movies, and Criterion did a great job with that release also. All right, so if you couldn't tell by the hat that I'm wearing in this video, I am a big fan of Matt Reeves' The Batman. And I think when we're talking about why this movie is important in 4K, it is the use of shadows. The Batman is completely drenched in darkness. The entire movie takes place either at night, in the rain, in dimly lit locations, and without having HDR, we would really not get the full vision of the director. And a common misconception of HDR is just that, it makes everything brighter and pop more. And yes, that is true. You do get brighter highlights, but you also get deeper shadows and better blacks and better shadow detail. And this movie, it's another one shot by Greg Fraser, who we talked about on the Dune discs. Just looks unbelievable. It's also an awesome movie, and it has a monster audio track. Tons of atmospherics. Your surrounds and your height channels are constantly working. And then when it's time for the big action set pieces, like the Batmobile chase in the middle, and then the sequence in Gotham Square Garden towards the end, everything opens up, and all your speakers are used. Subwoofers get a nice workout. It's a really fantastic release, but particularly for its use of shadow. All right, so if we are talking about 35mm film, we have to talk about Quentin Tarantino. And, whether you love him or hate him, he is a big-time supporter of the 35mm format. He will not shoot on digital. He will not project on digital at his New Beverly Cinema out in Hollywood. He is a 35mm celluloid guy through and through, which is why his film from 1992, Reservoir Dogs, is on my list. This is a absolute peak example of how good a movie shot on film can look on 4K. I'd seen this movie plenty of times, whether it was on DVD or Blu-ray or streaming or whatever. When this came out from Lionsgate a few years back, the sharpness is off the charts. It's almost like watching the movie for the first time all over again, because you can see so much detail. We also got a lot of that on Pulp Fiction, Jackie Brown, a little bit less on Inglourious Bastards and the Kill Bill movies, but they still look great. But if we're talking about film and we're talking about Quentin, at least so far, this one is my favorite of the bunch. Getting close to the end here, and we have a topic that is, it's Roger Deakins. It's literally an entire pick here that is dedicated to the master, Roger Deakins. For those of you who don't know who Roger Deakins is, he is one of the best and most celebrated cinematographers of all time. He shot the aforementioned Blade Runner 2049, shot Fargo, Shawshank Redemption, Sicario, Prisoners, No Country for Old Men. The list just goes on and on. The guy is one of the GOATs. And in this film, Sam Mendes' 1917 is a true showcase of his work. This took home the Oscar for Best Cinematography in the year that it came out. It's made to look like it's one continuous shot throughout the film's runtime. Obviously, it isn't. There's some really clever stitching and whatnot that happens, but it's made to look like everything takes place in real time. There are scenes that change from daylight to indoor, outdoor, nighttime scenes, very bright highlights, very deep shadows, everything in between. The video quality is just, it's fantastic. I think it's probably the best way to show Deacon's work to its fullest potential, and it's got a pretty killer audio track as well, especially the final sequence of the film. There's a lot of stuff flying around, and it's really great. Okay, and last but certainly not least, we have the category that I'm referring to as the kitchen sink, and that is going to be The Matrix from 1999, what some would say is one of the best years in cinema history. This movie is the very first DVD I ever bought, and then I bought it on HD DVD, and then I bought it on Blu-ray disc, and then I bought it on digital, and now I have it here on 4K. And you know, this one's gone through a lot of iterations for home release, and every single one, it seemed like there was always like a slight tweaking to the color grade. You know, the difference between the green cast for when you're in the Matrix and the blue cast for when the characters are in the real world. This 4K disc is, as far as I can tell, the closest to how this was released by the Wachowskis in the theaters, and is now considered the definitive way to own and experience the film. You know, and not only does the video quality exceed expectations, the audio is no slouch either. I mean, right at the top of the film, when the code of the Matrix passes by you and it transitions from your front speakers up through your heights and your rear surrounds, you know you're in for something fun. And then the lobby shootout towards the climax of the film has always been and will always be demo quality. So if you're looking for something that is going to wow everyone, and it's a movie that's held up and stood the test of time, The Matrix is definitely it. All right, so that's going to do it for this video. Hopefully, you know, if you're an avid collector, you got to run through and tick all the boxes and see if you have all these films. If you're new to collecting, hopefully this gives you a great jumping off point for what discs you want to buy as you start getting into this wonderfully expensive hobby that we call physical media. Would love to hear from you, though. Drop me a comment below. Let me know your thoughts. What are your favorite movies? What are your go-to demos? Have you been collecting for a long time, or are you brand new? Everyone's welcome. Go ahead and drop that comment below and we'll respond to every single one. Like the video if you liked it. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Make sure to check out some of our other reviews. We've reviewed the Season 3 premiere of Shrinking, the Game of Thrones spinoff, Night of the Seven Kingdoms. I have a 4K review of One Battle After Another on the channel that's doing nice. So plenty of stuff to check out here at Movies Good, Internet Bad. So be on the lookout for all of those and so much more in the future. And until next time, we'll see you guys in the next video.